right, the purpose of tonight. So we're going to talk a little bit about junior achievement. We're going to share how we're delivering programs for this interesting pandemic year that we're in. We're going to talk about what's new and what stayed the same with junior achievement and answer your questions. Junior achievement, as most of you probably know, was created to inspire students to own their economic success by using work readiness, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy curriculum to inspire students. And as I let my screen load, let's see, are we going to move? Sorry, guys. There we go. Also on the call with me and Amanda introduced a minute ago was Ann Elliott. Ann is the Executive Director of JA Central Carolinas, which services York, Lancaster, and Chester counties. And again, my name is Bette Bronson. I serve all the other counties as Vice President of Education, and I have a small program team that manages, and we kind of split the counties around the state and manage programs and teachers who are conducting junior achievement and hosting right now virtual volunteers in their classrooms. All right, so what makes JA possible? So we're a nonprofit. We are constantly writing grants and working with statewide organizations with partnerships to make JA possible. It costs about $500 to support one classroom of JA. And so a lot of the grant funding that we receive and other partnerships is specific to counties, sometimes school districts, or districts that have a certain percentage of free and reduced lunch. And so a lot of the funding that we receive, we're very careful to make sure that we're using it to, honor how it's been given to us. And so real quick, I don't know how quickly we can do this. There's not a ton of us on this call, but I'd like for you just to go around, and I'm gonna call you by name, and I just need to unmute. And if you would tell me your name, where you're located, kind of where your school is, what grade you teach, just so we kind of know where everybody's come from. So Jennifer Davis, I will start with you.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Davis. I live in York, South Carolina, and I teach for the York 1 district. Right now I'm teaching virtually and I'm second grade.
Awesome, thanks. Okay, Denise.
Hi, I'm Denise Campbell Gartrell. My name is hyphenated. I'm actually in Edgefield County this year. I left Saluda last year, and I'm at Jet Middle School, and I work with all grades 6, 7, and 8.
Awesome, thank you. Celeste.
I am in the virtual world, Kimberly Smith, but okay. I use my Celeste. So most people call me Celeste. I teach at Dreher High School, and I'm in the special services department. So I have 9th through 12th plus graders. And I serve this year, I'm doing the students that are doing the high school credential program, which means they're getting job ready rather than planning on going to college.
Awesome. Marifi, did I say that properly?
That's fine. I'm Martha Playo from W.G. Sanders Middle School in Richland County, Richland District 1. I teach math for 6 through 8, Algebra 1, and geometry. And I'm excited to learn more about juniors achievement because I have 2 kids, and I have dig some of those files that they brought home, and it was phenomenal.
Awesome.
Thank you. And I would like to learn more about it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sherry?
Sure. Sorry, I had to move my dogs before I spoke. So I'm Sherry Smith, and I'm in the upstate of South Carolina, really Clemson, right by Clemson. But I teach at Edwards Middle School, and 6th, 7th, and 8th grade this year. Fundamentals of computing for 2 grades, and then careers for my 6th graders. When I was a student in Atlanta, I was actually a member of Junior Achievement. So I know the great things that they can do.
Awesome. Thank you. Carla.
Sorry. Hi, my name is Carla Rivers, and I'm a school counselor at Newberry Middle School.
Wonderful. Thank you. Tamika.
Hi, my name is Tamika Tucker. I'm career specialist at Bethune-Bowman Middle High School. I serve 6th through 12th grade students.
Awesome. Thank you. Sabrina.
Hi everyone. Sorry for the background noise. I'm at my 10-year-old son's baseball game. But my name is Sabrina Cheek. I teach at Fairfield Central High School in Winsboro, South Carolina. I teach social studies, grades 9 through 12.
Thank you. Okay, Linda. Linda, you're on mute. I can't just, are you there? Okay, how about Ashley?
Hi, I'm Ashley Bowers. I live in Charleston and I'm an English teacher at Ashley Ridge High, which is in Somerville, part of Dorchester District 2.
Awesome. Okay, thank you all so much for introducing yourself. That will help me and Ann as we kind of, as I share tonight about the programs that we have available. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen real quick, and we'll keep moving. And hopefully my Wi-Fi will move us through the presentation and not spin on me too much. So this semester, and probably for this full school year, we've had to adjust, obviously, our delivery models to make JA possible, because schools are not allowing, volunteers to come into the classroom, and most companies are not allowing businessmen and women to volunteer outside of the, the office or their remote home. So we have pivoted to support our teachers by providing virtual volunteers. So you can see here several different ways that we're providing volunteers. We're offering full lesson beam in. So depending on your grade level, if you're a kindergarten or an elementary school, there are 5 lessons of junior achievement. If you're a middle school, there's 6 to 7 lessons. High school, there's anywhere from 6 to 8 lessons. So typically a volunteer would physically walk into your classroom with a kit of material or, a link to share our digital curriculum via your smartboard, and they would visit 5 to 6, 7 weeks and come weekly for a class period and lead junior achievement. This year, obviously, we're going to be hosting that time, or you're going to be hosting that time virtually. And we know everybody's situation is a little bit different. So some of you are back face-to-face and you can host a virtual volunteer, right there in your classroom, but others of you are, leading a classroom remotely and everybody's working from home. So something else we're also adjusted this year is we're allowing and letting teachers lead our curriculum as well. Typically we would not do that. We want to volunteer to, that's a critical piece, we feel like, of what we do, is getting those businessmen and women in front of your students to expose them to careers in their communities. But we are letting teachers use the curriculum and sending it to them. We also have some self-guided curriculum as well. So when you look at kind of what I've just walked through, here's one way you can kind of see the classroom, and we have this virtual component where the volunteer beams in. We also have some recorded content. So we're really happy. We've got a group of Beta Alpha Psi Honor Society students from Clemson University who are recording a lot of our content and helping us with some of our curriculum for our elementary school programs mostly. And so we're able to share and deliver some curriculum to you. So you don't necessarily have to host and manage and schedule a live volunteer to beam in, but you can use some of our recorded content as well. But you still also, you can see there, use the live volunteer too. Next, we obviously, a lot of us, and this is how some of my children are learning face-to-face some weeks, fully virtual other weeks. And so our volunteers, if you're at home as the educator, you can still host the space. And that's what we're asking, or how we're asking teachers and schools to manage this time, is that you would share your link for your virtual classroom with your volunteer, and then they would beam in to your space, and that would be a space that you host. And or again, you can use the recorded content and just share it as a part of your class time, or even assign it to your students as well. So a virtual volunteer, all lessons recorded, virtual volunteer, when they beam in live, I've said before, we typically have a kit of materials that we provide to you. And so for those teachers that are already in the classroom, and are able to do the kit, maybe the activities with the students, we'll be sending you the kit material directly to the school. Whereas normally the volunteer would come in with that. We're going to send that to you, let you, and then host the volunteer to beam in and lead the virtual lesson. We're still, seeing that volunteers are beaming in once a week. Lessons now don't take a full 45 minutes with that beam in time, because the activity portion is usually the piece that takes the most time. And so our volunteers are coming in anywhere from about 15 to 20 minutes, 30 minutes at the most, to lead the virtual lesson. And we're supporting and supplying our teachers, our volunteers, with digital slide decks, so that just like we're meeting tonight, they would share their screen and present the curriculum to your class. So your role in that is to help facilitate the discussion, manage the chat and that sort of thing as the lesson is progressing. As I click on through here with the recorded content, it doesn't change much. Let's see, is my screen moving along? I don't know. There we go. Let's see. So as with our fully led teacher programs, the teacher would lead the full JA program. We would give you the physical kit of materials to you. We would also give you the video conferencing platform. For those of you that are in middle and high schools, we have a digital learning platform that manages and hosts our curriculum. So work readiness, entrepreneurship, financial literacy curriculum. In our middle schools, we have, a career readiness program called It's My Future, and It's My Business, which is our entrepreneur-based program for middle schools, and global marketplace for middle schools. And so we can, if you would like to lead it, and for it to be teacher-led, we would provide you with the learning platform that you would jump into, and then also you would have slide decks to present. We give you, what's really wonderful about Junior Achievement is all the lesson plans are written and created for you, and so you would just use the slide decks we've created and the lesson plans that match to lead your classroom through the content. Again, there's recorded volunteers as well. And like I said, we're working on that. We're really, as we get into this school year, seeing that things continue to change. And so we're trying to pivot and work with schools and provide them what they need. We have found, and I don't know how many of you are possibly Google districts, but we have been able to create some curriculum that focuses or that we've been able to load into a Google site so that it's easily manageable for those of you who are using platforms like Google, and you can just assign videos to watch and material to be completed by students. And we are using fillable PDFs for some of our content while we're teaching remotely. And then the self-guided content is out there. So if you feel like, I want JA, but I don't have time for a virtual volunteer or to lead it myself, we can provide you with a website to be able to share with your students that has some video content and then a condensed activity sheet that goes along with it. When we look at our curriculum, we provide you with a guide, and you can kind of see the time frame. There's an introductory piece, there's the activity piece, which takes the most time, and then kind of a summary and review when we look at our curriculum. It's really fun. Like right now, today, we've got an elementary school down in Charleston, Shakur Elementary, that their third graders are about to receive JA for the first time. And so we've sent the volunteers the slide decks and everything they need to lead, and we've mailed the teachers the kit material to do their activities. And so the volunteers will beam in and share the lesson. In third grade, it's called JA Our City. And then once the volunteer has completed their lesson, the teacher will then lead the activity portion of the lesson with the student. So JA's ultimate goal is to continue to help communities transform through work readiness, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy. JA was started 100 years ago by actually 101, 102 years ago by a group of men who felt like there were not high school students coming out of high school ready to go to work for their companies. And at that time, it was just boys they were looking to hire. And so they went into schools, high schools, they created a program called the JA Company Program that we still use today. And obviously, over the last 100 years, we've evolved quite a bit. And K-12 programs have been developed and designed, and we don't just train boys anymore to be inspired to own their economic success. Right now, more than anything, we want to be able to meet communities and schools right where they are. And so this has been an interesting and challenging time, but really exciting to see how many volunteers have come out of the woodworks because they finally have enough time to volunteer. They're not having to drive in their car, 30 minutes to a school or 15 minutes. And they can really just beam in right from their office to meet with your classroom. So things that have changed with us, obviously, is we're allowing educators to lead some of our curriculum. We do have virtual resources that are new and are ever evolving and developing. And we have some new volunteer roles with this recorded content as well. And I should say that also JA has a renewed commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion within our organization nationally. Even as an employee, they are nationally, we are have had some training, full day trainings on diversity, equity, inclusion. And honestly, in South Carolina and anywhere, like all students, no matter the zip code they live in, the color of their skin, should be inspired to own their economic success and be exposed to things in their communities and outside of their communities that could help them dream about their futures. And so ultimately, that's what we want to do here at Junior Achievement. So the JA delivery models, I don't think I really need to review that again. We've talked about that. They're either going to come to you live or you can use the recorded content. But just so you know, our volunteers are trained prior to joining your classroom. So we require everyone to train. They sign volunteer waiver forms. If you're in a middle school or high school, the waiver forms, we ask them not to connect with students on social media. I mean, we have them sign off on everything, that they conduct themselves in a professional manner when they're with you. But so anyway, they train with us and we have some great resources to help them prepare to be awesome, especially in this new virtual world. Their role, how to be awesome virtually, like how do you do that? I don't know really how awesome I'm being right now virtually because of technology, but we try to encourage them and help them see what they can do to help make it interesting and to keep students engaged. And to facilitate instructions and give instructions and that sort of thing. So just know that the volunteers that are coming to you have been trained and are being supported by the JA staff to help you. Before I talk there, I want to share my screen, or actually I'm going to go jump over here to our JA personal finance curriculum. And y'all can see up here at the top. Will somebody just vocally let me know you can see this personal finance screen? Amanda, can you see it?
I can see it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So you can up here at the top, Miss Southall at North Charleston High School. This is her learning platform, her landing page for her personal finance curriculum that she is hosting in her classroom this fall. And so I want to just walk you through like a lesson. So budgeting, lesson 2 is on budgeting. You'll notice here there's information for volunteers just to help them get prepared. Like here's some helpful, volunteer videos, but the presentation, this is what, and I'm going to click into the budgeting presentation, the volunteer would present to your class. Before I click right into it, right underneath, let's see, the guide, sorry, right above it, volunteer guide budgeting session. So this guide is the lesson plan that walks the volunteer through the slide deck. So when I click into the slide deck, it might take it here a minute to load. But what's really wonderful about it, it's easily navigatable. You'll notice down here at the bottom, there's a little pull-up slide, and so you can kind of advance the slides quickly. Hasn't loaded that first slide yet. There we go. And so you can navigate right and left. I'm gonna pull this up because that seems to, there we go. Budgeting. If there are videos that are going to be shown within the curriculum, they are just embedded into the presentation. And so with like something that's really fun with one of our middle school programs, our JA It's My Future program, that's our career readiness program, those students learn about branding. And so one of the first lessons is a Nike video about branding, and that video is embedded. And you can see here, I think this is a video, I'm not going to click in it, but everything is touch sensitive. So I led this program for my own child's middle school when we lived in Columbia. And if the volunteer was physically in your classroom, you know, they would just touch your smart board and start that video. I'm going to pull up the volunteer guidebook and just give you a little sneak peek into what this guide looks like and what the volunteer will be using. And then you as a teacher, like if you see this curriculum and you're like, you know, maybe I'll just leave this for my students this year, or this would work into my lesson plans or what I have planned. And here, let me slide on down. So what you'll notice is the image of the slide comes up on the left, and then the talking points for that slide is there on the right. And so all of our middle school, except for our Economics for Success program, is blended. And this is what we consider a blended program. It has a slide deck attached to it and then lesson plans that match. In high schools, we have a great personal finance program, the one that I'm showing you, and then also a new Be Entrepreneurial program that has at least lessons. This is a new blended program. And so if you're teaching entrepreneurship and are looking for a resource, I'm happy to follow up and send you an overview of the curriculum. So anyway, you can see here kind of what this looks like, what this guide looks like. And so for every lesson, once you click into the lesson, it just drills down all of the resources. So lesson 3 is on savings, and it drills down and gives you the resources. Lesson 4, credit and debt, customer protection, smart shopping, risk management, and investing in our personal finance program. So I just wanted to give you a sneak peek of that. Anne, do you want to add anything related to our curriculum or programs that you think would be helpful?
No, I think you have covered it. A lot of new alternatives for JA in the classroom.
For sure. And I just wanted to give y'all just a snapshot of kind of who we are. Matt and Mallory Soros are the program managers for Junior Achievement of Greater South Carolina. And like I mentioned, Anne is the executive director who manages JA of Central Carolinas is out of the Charlotte office, and Anne manages and helps service York, Lancaster, and Chester counties. And so she would be your point of contact if you are in one of those counties. And then myself, Matt, or Mallory, we kind of work as a team, would help you and walk with you every step of the way in getting your programs off the ground. So I know I haven't delved super deep into like specific curriculum, but I did want to just stop, and Anne and I can answer any questions that you have. I know I spent a lot of time on you know, how we're delivering programs, because I know that's important for y'all to understand, like, how are we doing this? But I know you're also interested in our curriculum, and is it going to meet the need that you have? And so I just want to stop here and let y'all inquire, ask any questions you might have about how junior achievement can maybe help you meet your goals. One thing I should add, we have a new, and I've mentioned that It's My Future program for middle schools. We have actually Greenville County Schools uses this program for all rising 8th graders. They get It's My Future to assist with the IGPs. It walks through career clusters. And we have set up this new It's My Future program in a Google site so that it is completely self-guided. Because Greenville County Schools said, we don't have time to host virtual volunteers for 200 plus 8th grade classrooms or 7th grade classrooms. So we have created a way to be able to give this program to middle school educators to assist them in their IGP effort. And I know there's lots of other resources, and I know my kids, actually Sherry, my kids are at Edwards, or were at Edwards. So so I know that they have great resources to help them prepare and think and know career clusters and think about things. But so It's My Future is one of those. So, okay, I'm going to stop and let y'all ask questions. And just unmute yourself, or if you'd rather chat, you can chat.
For me, the It's My Future thing that you were talking about would definitely help me, since I'm a career specialist and I do the 8th grade IGPs, and it would help with the other grade levels as well. So that would work wonders with me. And I know I do a lot with the seniors as far as scholarships, trying to find internships and stuff for them. So I'm hoping that you have something in that package for that as well.
You know, we do, in a non-pandemic situation, we do a lot of career, job shadows and things like that, kind of what you're alluding to. We have some opportunities. We're going to be hosting this spring, and Ann, you chime in on what y'all are doing, because I know y'all are doing some things too, but we're doing a JA Inspire event, which is going to be a middle school virtual expo, career expo. Since none of us are going to be able to send our kids into a big, facility to visit booths and, take a whole day of school and that's a lot of fun. But we've created or actually we haven't created, we partnered with a tech company who's created this virtual expo space. And we're working with state sponsors, companies around the state who are supporting this event. And what's going to happen is it's going to be focused on career clusters. So each booth, your kids will know, like, where, if they're heading, to Blue Cross Blue Shield, like, where does that fall? Boeing, Volvo, trying to think of some of our upstate, Michelin. But we're gonna focus on upstate companies, Midlands companies, low country companies. We're going to begin to we've not advertised this yet, so y'all are really getting kind of the scoop on this now. This is something that we'll probably start advertising by Christmas, I would think. And we can host about 10,000 students a day to go through this virtual career fair. It's gamified, so there's an incentive for students to earn points, and they have a digital swag bag so they can collect, HR information. And what we're excited about is this expo would allow, like, a president of Blue Cross Blue Shield to do a 2-minute video, whereas he's never going to come to the expo center and get on the stage and talk for 5 minutes, right? But he can record. And so these companies are going to be creating and developing their booths. They're responsible for their booths, and they'll load all the information in. And then the students, also, prior to the event, there's 2 lessons of curriculum to prep them for the event that's either teacher-led or self-guided. And then there's a lesson that comes after as a wrap-up. So it does come with curriculum as well, and it's called JA Inspire. So there will be definitely more information to come on that. I know that, and I'm pretty sure I will get all of your names and your email addresses after this. So this will be a follow-up. I'll definitely follow up so y'all have my information as well. So, Ann, I know y'all have an event too, right, that you're planning for spring?
Yes, we're going to do something very similar, but ours will be in February. So same premise. Can't go into a big gymnasium to talk about careers or that type thing. So it's going to be the same thing.
Okay, gotcha.
And Jennifer, I'll have to connect with you since you're in York County. Yes.
And our event looks like it's going to be in mid to late March, the JA Inspire event. Tamika, I was trying to think back, because I know you said for high schoolers, we've got some companies that we're maybe working on some virtual job shadow opportunities. And then we have a curriculum called JA It's My Job that is like a soft skill curriculum. And there's 6 lessons and it walks through cell phones in the workplace. And this is a high school curriculum. So this is 9th through 12th grade curriculum. How to write about yourself, filling out resumes, interviewing, stuff like that. So we have a curriculum called It's My Job that may be beneficial to you as well.
Sounds great.
Another good curriculum is our lunch lessons, where we can have a professional zoom in virtually into your classroom and talk about their career and how they got started, where they started at, how they got to where they are now, and then give the opportunity for the students to ask questions. And so that's kindergarten through 12th.
It is. And thank you for mentioning that, Ann, because this is something I'll follow up in the email to y'all about. But November 20th, for high school, for you high school educators, we are hosting, and this maybe we could do middle school too. So maybe not just high school, but middle and high. We're doing a launch lesson. I shouldn't call it a day. It's going to be a 1-hour event. It's going to be from 10 to 11 on November 20th. And we're going to host a upstate entrepreneur, a Midlands entrepreneur, and a low country entrepreneur. And they're going to briefly share about their businesses and how they got started and their challenges and all of that. And so it'll be a live event. So it won't be similar to this. Like we won't be able to see all the students' faces and there won't be a live chat. It'll kind of be like a one direction kind of event. And so we'll ask you to sign up to attend, and then we'll send you the bios of the entrepreneurs so your students can research them. And then we'll ask you if your students would like to ask questions to submit those questions ahead of November 20th. And then we'll be asking, we'll be walking. I think I'll probably be managing that event, and then working with the entrepreneurs to answer those questions the students might have. So this is like early in the works, but November 20th, envision, I think we're thinking of calling it something like envision yourself as an entrepreneur. Anybody else? Oh, I see a question. How is the program cost for middle school curriculum? Is it based on the number of students? So 32 students counts as a class. So it doesn't matter. We really try to we'd like to have at least 10 in a class or more, to kind of justify the expense. Depending on where you are, it's likely that we have funding to support your program. So we're not asking you to come to the table and say, do I have to pay you, $500 to have a program? No. We're receiving grant funding. I mean, this week has been a great week for us in terms of getting some grants in that we're excited. So we have money to spend. Like I said earlier, sometimes it's specific to a county or a region, but we can definitely work on and make sure that we're able to support your school. You can combine smaller classes. That's a great question. So especially right now, I feel like class sizes are a little smaller, I've noticed. So you definitely can combine classes. 32 is the limit. So if we were going to provide you like a kit of curriculum, it's packed for 32. So we wouldn't want to exceed that. But in a launch lesson situation, like we've done this before, if you're in a high school and you want to bring all your 10th graders in, we probably can't do that right now, bring them all into the auditorium. And then we could, host, an entrepreneur for a one-time, thing. So that is always an option too. All right, I'm just trying to see if there are any other questions here. Tamika, thanks for sharing your information. Can we combine? I think yeah, that's right. Okay. So lastly, I just want to thank you for, coming in and hearing about what Junior Achievement is doing. Could we be structured as a club? Yes, you can. So we've got girls and boys clubs that use Junior Achievement, after school programs. It's sometimes not ideal. Sometimes it's a little bit harder, only because we really want the 20 kids that are in the class to get all 5 lessons. And sometimes with our after school programs, it's like you get 5 this week and you get a different 5 the next week. And we really want all the students to get all the lessons. But we do after school with Boys and Girls Club, and there are some opportunities for that as well. So if you have a situation or you have a group of a captive audience in the afternoon, we could definitely figure out a way to support a class that looks like that, who's 6th, 7th, and 8th graders all together. I'm the SGA advisor, and I think this would be good for them. That's why I asked. Thank you. No problem. You're welcome. Yeah, so just let me know. And I think y'all will receive my information as well. And so reach back out to me, after I, follow up. Please email me with these specific situations.
Bette and Ann, this has been wonderful. Are there any other questions before we dismiss from this session? Because we do have another one again at 8. So I hope that you guys are going to join us for